If you can give a student a superpower to help them to get to school, but more importantly, to transition from college to career, what would be that superpower that you would give that student?
Well, I cheated a little bit because I was watching. I'm a watcher of your podcast too.
Okay.
So this study the question. So I've actually put a lot of thought to that. And I really, it came down to me is resilience.
Yes.
They have
Yes.
resilience, then a lot of life challenges, they'll be able just to bounce back and work their way through it. I see so many people that they have obstacles that are placed in front of them and they just tap out. But
Yeah.
life is short. Things are going to go wrong. Everything's
Mhm.
not going to go your way.
Hello, I want to welcome you all back to the podcast, How to Play the Game of College, y'all. We are in season 4. And when I say I'm super, super excited about today's guest, I want to let him introduce. I feel like this guy wears so many different hats, so I won't do it justice. But we have the president of Dallas College, Dr. Rick Smith. How you doing today, my guy?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Glad to be here. I know you're in your 4th season, as you said. I've been waiting for my invitation, so I'm glad you finally get that phone call.
Well, when folks are too busy, my guy, hey, we
Hey,
gotta
I was
get you.
watching the Hall of Fame induction, and they were showing them getting the phone calls and knock the doors, saying, "Hey, they're invited." So I took the phone, I'm like, "Yes, I've made it. I'm on the podcast."
Man, no, super glad to have you here. And like I tell the audience, I love to just get different perspectives when it comes around all things post secondary, from
Yeah,
presidents at your level like yourself down to students that might be thinking about going to college, even in a high school space. And so,
right.
without further ado, if you can, Dr. Smith, just give us a high level overview. I know you're new in your presidency. Has it been 7, 8 months?
6 months,
6
6
months.
months.
Yeah,
Yeah,
6 months. And just kinda if you could give us, like, a high level overview of how you got to become a college president.
sure.
Yes.
Absolutely. I tell
Yes.
you, my path to becoming a college president was probably a little different than a lot of people because I
Okay.
wasn't always in academics.
Okay.
I actually got to academics in 2016, but how I got there, I spent first 8 years of my career, professional career, was in television news. Believe it or not, I
Yeah,
worked at a couple of different TV stations as a producer, reporter, an anchor, and a name that people may recognize, Jerry Springer. Believe it or not, gave me my first anchor training when I was working at a
wow.
station called WLWT-TV in Cincinnati, Ohio. He and I
Wow.
started around the same time, and he was kind enough to share with me some of the training that he received. I was just out of college. I couldn't afford it, but he was able to pass that training on to me, which I always appreciate that, Jerry.
Wow. The things you learn on this podcast.
Exactly, exactly. The connection I have a connection to Jerry Springer. Uh,
Yes.
but then, I spent that time in TV news, and then, I was a healthcare reporter in Cincinnati, Ohio, and
Okay.
had an opportunity to actually make that leap to literally asking the question one day to answering the next. So I got into healthcare as the spokesperson for the University of Cincinnati Medical Center, and that
Okay.
launched a 23-year healthcare career that took me a lot of different places. I was in Cincinnati, I was in Atlanta, I was
Okay.
in, Dothan, Alabama, Louisville, Kentucky, Albany, Georgia, Danville, Kentucky.
Wow.
It had a wonderful career, but for me, in 2016, I got recruited to, Kentucky State HBCU,
Yeah.
Kentucky State University, by the then president Raymond Burse, and,
Okay.
he invited me over to take a executive role there, and I just found my passion, brother. It was
Man.
something else for me. All my career had been professional career had been fulfilling, but for me, it was finding the path to higher education that really thought that made me think, "Okay, this is it." Because I was helping people, and I saw
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
transformative power of education and being able to help people navigate to that was it for me. So that started the,
Yeah.
higher education career. Spent some time at, Kentucky State University,
Okay.
helped found 2 colleges, one called the Kentucky College of Art and Design, which is Kentucky's only independent art college. So I had
Mhm.
the opportunity to do that, and then got on early with a college in Pennsylvania, the Northern Pennsylvania Regional College, which is a community college located in, Warren, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And then spent a little time as United Way president, but came back
Mm.
when I started working on my doctorate, working for the Kentucky Council on Post-Secondary Education.
Okay.
And that's where I really kinda cut my teeth on workforce development work, which eventually led me spent about a year at Simmons College, which is the
Mhm.
state's private HBCU, but then
Yeah.
led me to Dallas College, where I am now as president of Dallas College North Lake.
Thank you for sharing. I told you I wouldn't do your bio any justice, man.
Yeah, yeah,
So thank you for sharing it. I love
absolutely.
you're saying like, hey, I started, this particular pathway, but and I end up going to the left, but then I went to the right. I circled back around.
Yeah,
And so I
yeah.
think is, as we think, talk to students about making, life decisions, right?
Mhm.
Know that, life can change in an instant,
Absolutely.
it can pivot, right? And, one of the themes for my own personal journey this year is just enjoy the ride.
Mhm.
The ride has taken me to some random places at times.
Yeah,
I've been able to just sit back and really enjoy it, man. So thank you for sharing that journey.
sure.
And Dr. Smith, one question that this season I open up with all my guests is
Mhm.
if you can give a student a superpower to help them to get to school, but more importantly, to transition from college
Sure.
to career, what would
Mhm.
be that superpower that you would give that student?
Well, I cheated a little bit because I was watching. I'm a watcher of your podcast too,
Okay.
so I participated in the coaching. So I've actually put a lot of thought to that, and I
Yeah.
really it came down to me is resilience.
Yes.
They have
Yes.
resilience, then a lot of life challenges, they'll be able just to bounce back and work their way through it. I see
So
so
true.
many people that they have obstacles that are placed in front of them and they just tap out.
So
And
yeah. Yeah.
life is short. Things are going to go wrong. Everything's
Mhm.
not going to go your way. But if you have that unshakable resilience, I know you talk
Yeah.
about your book, I talk about that in my book,
Oh,
that,
yeah. Yeah.
then you know that hey, you've got to, if you get knocked down, you have to get back up.
So true.
Not only
True.
is that impacting yourself, but so many people that are looking at you that you don't even
Yeah.
realize. You may have
Yeah.
family, friends that need to see that to know that okay, if that person can do it, maybe I can do it too. So the
So true.
superpower for me would definitely be resilience and
Love
this
it. Love it.
bounce back ability.
Yes, yes. No, I love
Yeah,
it, man. Yes, and again, how you talk about, it's the young folks say life be lifing, right? I
absolutely.
would still, especially our young folks and just really anyone, life is gonna happen, right? It's gonna
Mhm.
happen to all of us. No one is exempt from it. But it's the
Absolutely.
tools that you use to fight. And I think, like you said, getting back up, from the
Mhm.
fall, right? And keep getting back up
Yeah.
is going to be the key to really progress forward. So, man, I think that's great, especially for our students who are looking at a post-secondary
Sure.
credential. Yes, yes, yes.
I've learned probably more from the life's challenges than I have
Yeah,
in life.
yeah.
That's taught me again. You learn so many things when things don't necessarily go your way.
So
Yeah,
true, so true. Yes.
you learn from those. You learn that okay, I'm gonna do this a little bit different this time.
Right.
Or if I had just done this, maybe I would have had a different outcome. So I think
So true.
you can get a lot out of positive experiences, but you can get a lot out of negative experiences as well.
So true. So true. It's just all, and how you perspective, right? Of like,
Absolutely.
hey, this happened. What can I do to move forward? The lesson that was learned, and man,
Mhm.
keep going to the next level. I
Yeah.
know you mentioned when we were talking about just your life's journey, working at different types of colleges. And in the book, How to Play the Game of College,
Mhm.
I have a chapter dedicated to college fit, right?
Mhm.
And 2025, I won't age myself. I ain't gonna talk about you, Dr. Smith, but I won't age myself. When when I was in high school, it was, hey, you go to high school, you go to a 4-year college, you get a
Yes.
job, and even back in the day when we think about community colleges that are doing some really great things. I know
Mhm.
you're gonna talk about that. Back in the day it was called junior college, and it was
Right.
kind of seen as like, hey, you only go here if you couldn't go to a
Right.
4-year, right?
Mhm.
But I think, students looking to select the right college fit is so
Mhm.
important. What would you say maybe to a parent or a student who might be thinking about what type of college should I go to? And if you
Mhm.
can talk more about the community college space, I think that would be very helpful to any student who
Absolutely.
might be listening to the podcast. Yes.
No, absolutely. I came out of high school and I will date myself. I came out of high school in 1985. And I could tell you that, many people, they did have that perception of then referred to as junior college, but community college has really come to know it now as
Yeah.
being less than. It is
Right.
absolutely not less than. There is
Yeah.
that negative perception that people have, but I tell people all the time, it's really the smart approach for a lot of different reasons. If you know that, hey, I want to go to college, to a traditional 4-year college, that's great. If you have a full scholarship, be it academic or athletic or whatever the case may be, then
Okay.
go for it, do it. But if you're a little unsure, if you don't know that, hey, I've got, my tuition's paid for, and it's coming out of your pocket or mom and dad's pocket, then
Yeah.
community college is really the smart way to go.
So
Because
true.
one, people have an opportunity to explore different career fields and different academic paths so they can decide, okay, is this something that I enjoy doing? I've seen so many people get to their junior year, some even their senior year, and realize, I don't really even want to do this, but they're so
Yeah.
far into it, they have to continue.
Hmm.
And oftentimes, those folks are not even utilizing their academic preparation. They're going into some other field. But
So
what
true.
community college will do for you, it gives you the opportunity to not only mature, earn a degree at a much lesser financial obligation for sure, because
Right.
the cost to attend a community college typically, oftentimes, like in Dallas, we have something called the Dallas Promise. So it's a
Okay.
lasting scholarship, so people can go
Yeah.
pretty much for free.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
they qualify.
Yeah.
Well, it's a really a cost-effective way to go to college, learn about yourself, mature, and find out what kind of career you wanna, pursue. Now, at Dallas College and many of the community college, they do an excellent job. Many of our HBCUs are doing this as well, as providing students with an opportunity to get experiential learning opportunities, so
Yeah.
internship, externships, apprenticeships, things like that. And really, the community college model is kinda built around that, being able to partner with businesses to be able to offer students an opportunity to kind of try it before you buy it, if you will.
Right.
Work in the space to decide if this is something that you want. So again, to answer your question, community college, I think, really is the way to go for many people,
Mhm.
especially if they don't have that tuition already paid for, or some people they already know what they want to do.
Yeah.
So in
Yeah.
that case, like you said, and you talk about it in your book, find the
Mhm.
college that's the best fit for you.
Yeah.
But if you're a little unsure, like most of us
Mhm.
are, like for me,
Yeah.
I use me for example. I can't speak for someone else. When I
Yeah.
went to school back in 1985, I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Okay.
I was blessed to have an academic scholarship. So my undergraduate was at the University of Louisville. I started in the speed engineering school and quickly
Yeah.
realized that wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Had my first experience with bad grades, and then my fear was telling my parents that okay, I
Right.
had a bad grade in this particular
Exactly. Yeah.
class. But then I went through 4 different majors before I finally decided on my
Wow.
undergraduate major was
Yeah.
broadcast journalism before I found that. But again, in community college, you have an opportunity to be flexible and learn different things
Yeah.
before you
Yeah.
commit to one particular degree.
So true.
And community college, I talk about people that are going to community college, it's kind of like a highway exit ramp. You know,
Yeah.
you can get on and off at different points. You may
Mhm.
get on and say, I want a certification in something or some
Yeah.
type of
Mhm.
credential. So you can
So
get
true.
on, just get to that credential exit and get off because that's what you need to be successful in your career.
Yeah. Yeah.
But say you do that for a few years and you decide, you know what? If I go back and get a little bit more education, that's going to put me in a position for promotions or
Mhm. Mhm.
advancements. Let me get back
Yeah.
on this expressway, go a little further. I may go to a 2 year and say, okay, that's
Yeah.
what I need. Or I might decide that, I want to keep on this journey and go 4 year, or maybe even an advanced degree as you and I decided to do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
community college is just the most cost efficient starting point to do that, in my opinion.
Yes, yes. And I have a sweet spot for community colleges, man. Similar to you, I've worked at all types of institutions, but
Mhm.
there's just something, and I love how you put it, like the on and off ramp.
Right.
And I think that's so crucial with our students who, hey, I want to get to the workforce a little sooner, but then, like
Mhm.
you said, sometimes, hey, I got a certification, I can get off, I could work a little bit, I could come right back on when it's seamless,
Mhm.
right? There's no traffic getting back on. I get
Exactly.
back on, I get the next step. I might want to get off again, man. So
Mhm.
again, I love how you really, talked about that. And at the end of the day, like you said, really making sure students have a place where they feel at home, they feel
Absolutely.
welcome, and it's going to
Mhm.
meet their overall career goals is so very, very important. But definitely put community colleges at the top of that list. I think,
Absolutely,
yeah,
and our student teacher ratio is smaller. For us,
yeah,
we have
yeah,
about a 23-to-1 on average,
yeah,
teacher student ratio, so you can get more kind of hands-on, exposure to your faculty, and oftentimes it's the same faculty. With our faculty,
yeah, yeah,
oftentimes they're teaching at 4 year colleges. You're getting the same
exactly.
quality education, but just at a lower credit hour cost, to be able to
Right,
get that.
right.
So
So
let me
true,
let me
so
take
true.
let me take a drink out of my new cup,
Oh,
scooping.
there you I was gonna say, are those letters in the back look
Uh,
familiar?
yeah, a little
Please
something.
sign, yes. Great,
So that's
to
that's a
their
4 year
ears,
experience.
take the commercial break, right?
There you go, exactly.
No, no, and we'll talk a few about just engagement and
Yeah,
involvement on the college campus. But I
mhm,
guess on the flip side of it, right, the college type, what advice would you give to just say in 2025, right? The
mhm,
value of education is in question a lot. You have
sure,
people, especially students, parents, even I even met with a parent. I think a student on Monday. I know, I think
mhm,
today Tuesday, Monday, and
right,
the student's parent was like, "Hey, they're wasting time. They don't need to go to college. They need to go right from
Mhm.
high school to the workforce. What are you doing? Right. And a lot of folks are questioning that. So what would you say to a student that we talked about a student that knows they're going to college? They're just trying to figure out
Mhm.
the type. But on the
Right,
flip side, the student who like, I don't know if college is for me, if it's
right.
worth it. What would you say to that student? The value of
Well,
education.
see, that's absolutely one of my pet peeves,
Yeah.
when I hear a person or even probably more problematic for me is when I hear a parent say that their
Yeah.
student is not college or not post-secondary, material.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
that's so sad when I hear that because, in my opinion, everyone needs some sort of post-secondary education.
Yeah. So
And
true.
typically, it's a college education or some type of training. It's not a secret that technology is changing the world that we live in. I mean, if you go into a Walmart or
Yeah.
any type of store, Target, any store that you go into right now, they have self checkouts. They have all the things. So our traditional jobs are going away. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, many people of color have occupied those traditional jobs. So if we don't get some sort of additional training, we'll be left out of those new career opportunities. So that's how you get prepared for those things is you seek some sort of post-secondary education. So everyone is college material.
Yeah.
Everyone is post-secondary material. Now it may not
Yes.
be 4 year, which
Yeah.
typically we think college, we think a 4 year, but we just talked about the 2 year space. But just work certifications through
Mhm.
technical colleges or technical spaces where you can get it certified in particular, area. For
Yeah.
example, I just use the cashiers that you go in, those traditional jobs are going away, replaced
Mhm.
by technology. And
Yeah.
someone has to
Self-checkouts.
fix that technology. Someone has to install that technology because it will break.
Right.
I come from my path to higher education went through Kentucky, and
Mhm.
my father's retired Air Force. He retired in Louisville, Kentucky. Kentucky is known, they have Ford plant, Toyota there, so a lot of car
Yeah.
manufacturers there.
Yeah.
And if you go into those car manufacturers now, versus back in '85 when I was there, you used to see the assembly lines and all the people around doing things. That's
Mhm.
changed. Now it's all
Yeah.
technology. So someone has to know how to install and repair all the technology that's being used. So that's what I tell people is
Yeah.
let's change the nomenclature. Let's
Right.
remove the statement, I'm not college material, I'm not post-secondary material.
Yeah.
Everyone is because these jobs of the future, and there are different studies out there that show that, and I've seen studies say 99% of the jobs of the future will require some sort of post-secondary education.
So
So that's
true.
real.
So true. Very
So
true.
for us to be able to compete for meaningful paying jobs,
Yeah.
it's a necessity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why it heartens me. It's so disappointing for me when I hear parents,
Yeah.
especially, say they're
Yeah.
not college material because these
Yeah.
kids are listening. If mom or
Yeah.
dad says
Yeah.
that, then no, I must not be. I've already got that in my head. So we need to tell folks that, hey, you know what? There's a path for you. It may
It's
be
true.
all the different areas that we talked about, but find the one that's right for you and start that journey down the path.
So true. I couldn't agree more. It's just so disheartening. And even as you just mentioned, I feel like you learn so many soft skills, right?
Mm,
Even when you're in the college space. I know being in Middle Tennessee State myself, undergrad, first gen college student, I learned so much. And we're talking about fraternities. You was
absolutely.
a place where I learned how to do a budget, how to put on the
Mhm.
event, and how to work with
Absolutely.
different organizations. And so of course, I got the degree, but it was like the other things around
Absolutely.
outside of the classroom that really like hit home for me and really to me made me a contender when I started applying for jobs.
Mhm.
I knew how to interview. I knew how to talk about leadership skills that I gained,
Right.
all about being in that space. So I think those things
Mhm.
are very, very important as we talk about that post-secondary credential. So true.
Absolutely, and those are some of those intangible things that people just don't necessarily think about when they think about college
Yeah.
and expense and all that.
Yeah.
It's a time to mature and to find out who you are and to find your voice.
Yeah.
Obviously, you just mentioned the fraternity, but there's so many different clubs,
Yeah.
SGA,
Yes.
all types of
So true.
different clubs that students can get involved in and find their voice. Find
Right.
the courage to be able to speak up and to find people that have like-minded like you just to start to create friends, and those friendships will last many times a lifetime.
So
So that's
true.
important to build your
Yeah.
network, and you start that while you're in college.
So true, so true. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Smith.
Mhm.
And we again, man, we're almost at the end of this interview.
Oh,
Believe it or
no.
not, we could talk all day. I know both of us love
Absolutely.
post secondary,
Sure.
and we talked about your journey, right, on boarding a student, the different college types. We talked
Mhm.
about the superpower, right, how to get on back up, resilience. We talked about the types of colleges. We got them there, the value of education, right?
Mhm.
they're there.
Mhm.
They are at the school, right?
Yes.
Welcome week is happening. They got on their t-shirts. They're going to class all the time. They're on
Mhm.
time in class.
Yeah.
Sometimes the honeymoon stage kind of it goes down,
It
right?
does. It does.
And a lot of times, this is the important part of a conversation of, hey, we get them there, but many times colleges and students struggle with retention, staying there.
Mhm.
What's
Absolutely.
some I know you've been in the post-secondary space for a while now. What are some of the
Mhm.
common challenges that you
Sure.
see when the students are facing when they get to the
Sure.
college campus that could cause them to stump out? Yeah.
The reality is that, as you said before, life is lifing for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's start back. It could be just your own motivation. Folks
Mhm,
get
mhm.
tired. That grind of getting up and going to class, and oftentimes you have to then go to class and then go to work to help pay for things. It can be difficult for our athletes to go to class and then practice, and then some of them still have to work. And now at this point, some of them even have families. So it's a challenge, but there are many barriers that folks have to face. It could be
Yeah.
transportation, so where you're looking for a college and we talk about fit, maybe finding a college that's on a bus line or a subway line, depending on where he is, that's an important factor
Mhm.
to remove those barriers. It could be childcare. Some
Yeah.
of our
Yeah.
some of our students are mothers and fathers, and they also have to worry about a little one.
So
So
true.
being able to have that. So what I've tried to do as a college president is
Yeah.
try to help identify those barriers and try to remove them. For example, Dallas College, my college, Dallas College Northlake, is right on a subway line. So we've got a bus line
Okay.
that comes right onto our campus.
Oh,
That's
that's
something
great.
Dallas College is very deliberate about because we know that many of our students are first gen students. Many of them are black and brown students who may
Mhm,
not
mhm.
necessarily be prepared or ready to go to a 4-year college or know if that's what
Yeah.
they want to do. So start to remove the barriers so they can come here and get the preparation needed to be able to advance. To either say, okay, I have what I need, I'm gonna go into the workforce, or to say, you know what, as we talked before, I'm gonna continue this journey and go on to a transfer out to a 4-year college or university.
Got you. Got you. That's so very, very important. And like you said, the first chapter of my book, and I know you read it, Noob.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is
Read it a few
first
times. I
chapter, I
encourage it.
started out with ask for help, ask for help,
Mhm.
right? And so,
Yes.
I know a lot of times when I worked on a college campus, I see a student, feel like they're doing well, and I look up and I'm pulling to McDonald's one morning to get me some oatmeal and some coffee, and
Right.
I notice a student. I'm like, I hadn't saw you in 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
I just
Right.
stopped going. And well, I said, "Oh, I needed childcare." Did you
Mhm.
express it to someone? And so I think if we can just learn to ask for help, and it's not only
Sure.
the students, that's just
Right.
in life in general, right? A lot of times people can't assume that they
Right.
know what you're going through. So I think that's a very important when we talk about barriers or obstacles that students
Sure.
endure. Sometimes just saying, "Hey, I need help with this particular thing."
Sure. And that's
So professor,
mental health challenges.
yeah,
What you just
yeah,
mentioned there, and I want to make sure we talk about that. Is a lot of students are facing different mental health issues, and that's not a bad
yeah.
thing.
So
It's
true.
it's 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 okay to say I need help.
Yeah.
This generation now, we're dealing with COVID, we're dealing with war, we're dealing with economy, all the things
Yeah.
that we have to face as a student right now. It's real. So to be able to say, hey, we need help. So again, that's something else that we're doing in every place that I've been at. Try to make sure we're advocating, make sure we've got counseling and support for students.
Got you. Got you. So very, very important. Guess what? We are at the end.
Oh no. That means you have to invite me back again. There's so many
I
more
tell
things
folks,
that
I'm
we
like,
can
look, it's
talk
30
about.
minutes. We try to keep it in that time frame, but no, we
Yeah.
definitely have you back. I look forward to partnering with you on some great work that you're doing at Dallas Community College. But with that being said, if we look back again, we won't say your age, Dr. Smith, because man, you look like you just got
Well,
out of
you know what?
college, man.
I will say my age. I'm proud to say that I will be 60 years old next year. So I'm
Wow,
proud to
that's
say
great,
that. That's
Luke.
okay.
Yes, that is great. That is great.
Yeah.
Let's look back at the 16-year-old
Okay.
Rick Smith.
Mhm.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Yeah. My advice that I would give to my younger self, actually, I don't know if you can see it, but my mother, Mary Smith, is her picture in the background. And my
Yeah.
father, Paul Smith, used to always tell me, no matter how many times you get up, you get knocked down, get back up again. So that's the advice
Man,
that I would make sure that again, I was told that advice. I was blessed to have parents to be able to tell me that advice and a good network around me to make sure that I had that. But that's the advice that I would continue to give myself
yeah,
and others is no matter how many times you get knocked down, you have to get back up.
man,
So it's something that just has to burn in you to say, you know what? That was difficult. That was hard. That
yeah,
was,
yeah.
that was a challenge, but I'm gonna get back up because I'm gonna fight through this. Because if you don't, then what? I mean, then
That's
you tap
true.
out. then game over.
True.
Nobody wants that. We want to have, long, healthy lives and make it
Yeah.
neat. In order to do that, sometimes you have to get up when you get knocked down.
Man, knew we can drop the mic literally, right?
Yes,
A
sir.
great piece of advice. And I think, again, for students and parents or just anyone watching this interview, I know that's going to be a huge help. And again, that's just day to day life, right? Because again, the time that we're in, there's so much going on, right, in the world. And many people want to throw in the towel. But like you said, if you could just
Do it.
keep getting back up, just keep getting back up, hey, it's going to be better on the other side.
It
So
is.
definitely appreciate you for sharing that. Dr. Smith,
Yes, sir.
I heard you are an author as well.
I am. I
I
am.
have your book, and I'm so
Yeah.
glad I didn't bring it up here.
I,
You got a copy on your desk, no,
I
behind you.
brought.
Yes, I
I,
was gonna say I know they look like it.
that's it.
Honestly, mine is on my nightstand. If I had time, I'd run and get it.
It's
Can you
funny.
put that
I
in the
said the same
camera?
thing.
Tell
After
everybody
they
to get
keep
it.
moving the goalposts,
Yeah.
how to move around obstacles on the opportunities, much what we were just talking about. And I have a book
Yeah.
coming out, and it'll be out in the fall. It's called
Yeah.
"Say It With Your Chest: How to Walk into the Room with Purpose." Kind of the
Man.
continuation of this book. My father used to always tell me and my three brothers, "Say it with your chest," and by that he meant, speak up. Look
Yeah.
people in the eyes, give a firm handshake. So I talk about those tips and things in the book. So that's coming
Man,
out,
I love it.
hopefully available on Amazon.
Got you, got you. Yeah, it's when I say it's a great read, and like I said, it's literally on my when I
Right.
saw your book on your desk, I'm like,
Yeah.
got to bring the book up here.
Yeah, well,
But no,
that's
man,
what I like about this book and yours is they're short reads. I mean, I read your book,
exactly,
and actually I've read it a couple of times and referred it to other people because it's
yeah,
such good information on how to play the game of college.
man,
And I tell people all the time, it's like, "Oh, you need to read this book because
I
Dr.
appreciate
Boyd, he hit the nail on
yeah,
the head,
yeah,
and he gives such good advice.
yeah,
From even how to pay for college, getting that, you have to complete your FAFSA. You do
yeah,
that, and then there's other monies that are out there, but that's the starting point. So all those
man.
things that you address in your book is fantastic.
So true, man. I need to take you on a road with me, man, to promote
There you
this.
go.
And I feel like we'll get some for your students at your college soon too.
Do that.
Uh, but yes,
Yeah.
man, the same here. Get it on Amazon. Go to my website, drshawnboyd.com. And again, Dr. Smith, this has been an honor. You've one that I've been able to watch. There are certain people I like to watch. I don't talk to every day, but I definitely watch you. And it's like I see your post at the right time. The day that you're like, is this worth me doing or should I? And I'm like, man, I see Dr. Smith over there. He's doing a great job. And I remember you telling me about the presidency and something that you wanted with that. And hey, he's doing it. And so, man, I'm a firm believer that God puts people in your life,
Absolutely.
near and far, that can keep you on your journey, man, inspiring.
Sure.
You're one of those people to me, man. So definitely just super, super honored to have you on here today.
Well, to give you your flowers, you do the same for me, and I know for a fact you do it for a whole lot of people. So this podcast, the book, your speaking engagements around the country, I appreciate what you're doing, and you have a lot of people that are looking and cheering you on. I'm definitely one of them, so I appreciate you.
Man, appreciate that. Don't make me do the ugly crowd here today. I mean,
Yeah, me too, man.
yes.
So
But no. Thank you so much, Dr. Smith. To our guests, make sure that you share this podcast. Make sure you comment because guess what, Dr. Smith gonna be on here replying back. I could feel it.
absolutely.
And also make sure you like. This was some great information today. And as always, the podcast drops every Wednesday, so we have another great guest. But until then, thank you for joining us, and have a good afternoon. Thank you.